What's up and welcome back everybody, it's your boy Blue Inferno, and today I'm going to be creating a quick guide to be able to help people loot in the dungeon. If you have ever been in the dungeon and your inventory is almost full and you need to pick between the epic riveted gloves and a legendary leather cap, which one do you pick? Which one's actually going to get you more money? And just so you guys fully understand, this isn't a full market evaluation. This is a set of general rules. When you've just won the most epic fight you've ever had, the dungeon is caving in around you, and you have 20 seconds to decide what comes with you and what gets lost to the dungeon. This is what I've learned from my time in the game, and I'm living proof that you don't need to be the GOAT to make a ton of gold. Now I'm going to be saying meta a lot during this video. Meta means the most effective tactic available, meaning that because it's the most effective way to play the game, there's a high demand for it, and that drives up its market price. At the time of making this video, move speed meta is in full swing, so we'll see a lot of that. Alright, so the most valuable pieces of loot have 4 factors in common. They have meta enchantments, overlapping modifiers, most meta piece of gear available, and their drip value. There's going to be a little bit of overlap in each one of these topics, but we're going to dig into it and I'm going to show you the details. Now for any new viewers who find this helpful, please like and subscribe. For a small content creator like me, it truly makes all the difference, and it lets me know what kind of content you guys enjoy seeing. Thank you for your support. Now let's get into the video. I've got a bit of a public service announcement here. The blue text at the bottom of this item that I'm showing right now, those are called the enchantments. A lot of people will call them stats and modifiers, but there's the built-in modifiers, which is our white text, which is dexterity, and then our enchantments, which is giving me that agility, max health, and memcap bonus. And if you take a look at my list, you're going to realize that item rarity is not a factor. So I'm talking things like uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and unique. You're going to find that you're going to be betrayed if you end up looting purely based on the color of an item alone, so you're going to want to stick to the tenets that I've listed. Because remember, a legendary piece of gear with terrible stats is just a legendary piece of garbage. Now figuring out what the most meta enchantments are can seem a little bit daunting, considering there are over 35 different enchantments that can be rolled. The important thing is you only need to remember a few small rules to help you choose. The most meta enchantments as of right now, starting with the most valuable going to the least, is 1. Add damage / true damage, 2. Add move speed / agility, 3. Add health, and 4. Add power relative to a piece of gear's stats. The first 3 are extremely simple and self-explanatory, while the last one requires a little game knowledge. In short, if you have a piece of gear that's good for physical damage, i.e. a strength stat like these riveted gloves, then you want physical power stats. And if you have a piece made for magical damage, you want magical power stats. Much like these mystic vestments right here, which give will, then stack also with magical power. The main thing is that you got to be thinking about who's going to be buying it. If you're going to have a fighter who's going to pick it up for the strength stat, then they're going to want physical power, because if they have a bunch of magical power on top of it, they can't even use it, so it's not worth anything to them. And that last point over there actually has a little bit of overlap with the second point here, which is you want to have overlapping modifiers. Like these Lightfoots right here that are epic and have +3 additional move speed, they're valued at 555. But as soon as we add on additional move speed bonus in addition to the additional move speed, their value just skyrockets. And last but not least, they can even have agility on them. And that's going to increase it exponentially yet again. So anytime that you can find an overlap in stats when an item's serving its purpose is when you're going to get extreme value out of a piece of gear. And if you end up with a pair of Lightfoot boots that have agility, additional move speed, and move speed bonus all built into them, you're going to make enough gold to put your kids through college. And this works for other types of gear as well. For example, the Fine Cuirass already has 3 vigor built into it, which is going to give us extra max health. Its job is to save your life, so it makes sense that it should have max health on it. A basic one is worth 174 just with the vigor. As soon as we put on max health, we end up at 388, and this is just for the cheapest of the cheap. And as soon as we stack on max health bonus, it goes up to 500. So having those overlapping stats is going to increase the value of a piece of gear massively. You can't overlook the fact that if one piece is dedicated to a job, it's going to do it well. So it doesn't really matter what kind of gear you're getting. When it comes to overlapping enchantments or passive effects, the value generally will increase. Our third factor is if it's one of the most meta pieces that are available. This means that it's a piece of gear that most people are trying to make their kits with. For example, dark leather leggings really aren't in meta. They start at about 120 with no effects whatsoever, versus if we go over to loose trousers, I know that these are in meta, and they're going to start off at about 200. Unfortunately for this factor, you just kind of have to have the game knowledge of what's the most desired pieces of gear at the time. Typically this can shift wildly depending on what people are currently running. This is the one thing that you have to learn for yourself, as it can change weekly, especially after a balance patch. But a great general rule is what gear serves the meta is going to end up being the most valuable pieces. So if we're operating in a move speed meta like we are right now, it's going to be items that are going to add agility, add move speed, and have much lower move speed modifiers to them. Well, if we're in the PDR meta, where everybody's rolling with the highest armor they can, it's going to be the pieces that have high armor value or high physical damage reduction. You're just going to have to play that by ear and figure that out on the go. Still, if you follow the first two factors, which is having meta enchantments and having overlapping modifiers, you're going to be at a good spot, you're going to be getting more valuable gear. Last but not least, we have the drip value. This includes all the super cool and sleek craftable items and named weapons. So for example, let's take a look at the Chapelle de Fer. Yeah, this one's just rare. It's got action speed and max health built into it. It's worth 250 gold. Well, if we go for the Cobalt Chapelle de Fer, it's only going to be giving 3.5% additional armor pen, and its value skyrockets. It's worth damn near 4 times as much gold. That drip factor is real. The drip factor also includes the named weapons. For example, we got just an epic rapier right here. We're going to start with +1 weapon damage with +2 max health at 289 gold, to having the same modifiers on this Demon's Glee with 1 additional weapon damage and 2 max health going for 900 gold. And all it adds is 1 additional magic damage. That increase in price is unjustified, aside from the fact that it looks really cool. And I'm not going to lie, I say unjustified, but that means a lot to me. For example, I own 2 Void Blades, and those things ain't cheap. Even if the stats are objectively horrible, it will always add additional value if it looks good. Anything Frostlight, anything Cobalt, anything Divine is just going to add extra value for the available space that you have for loot in the raid. So for a quick recap on my looting method, you want to loot items following these 4 factors. 1. You want the most meta enchantments, that's damage, speed, HP, then power. 2. You want overlapping enchantments. You want things that are going to boost the same stat multiple times. 3. You want the most meta items that are currently being used. And 4. You want that high drip value. High drip value can't be understated. I hope you found this guide helpful, and if you did, let me know in the comments whether or not you agree or disagree. Thanks for checking out the video, and if you like content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to see more of it. Until next time, guys, peace.